My name is Rui Sousa Silva. I'm chair of Working Group 1 in LITHME, Computational Linguistics, together with Henrique Lopes Cardoso. And in this presentation, we'll be talking about language understanding in the human-machine era. So we tend to think that computational linguistics and artificial intelligence have gained prominence with the launch of ChatGPT in November 2022. But if we go back to the 1940s, we will see that much of this comes from Shannon's theories. I mean, Shannon approached these probabilistic stances, saying that there was a probability distribution over sequences of words to predict how systems can generate language artificially. And more recently, several people, including Noam Chomsky, challenged the fact that artificial intelligence cannot understand language or produce language appropriately. And so I would like to mention Lyons here, who says that it's not about machines doing exactly the same things or behaving as humans do, but being able to produce language in the way, or understand language in the way that humans do by simulating their interaction. But how do we measure large language models' performance? I mean, there is always a subjective judgment, a subjective assessment of generated text when responding to a prompt, and we need, in this case, to be aware of the ELIZA effect. And the ELIZA effect influences the way we see results generated by language, and we tend to assume that just because it was produced by a machine, then it's better than it actually is. And so we need to have objective performance benchmarks and need appropriate data sets in computational linguistics to objectively assess how language is produced. So we are talking about natural language understanding, but what does it actually mean to understand language? Do machines understand language? Do machines understand other machines? Do machines need to understand language? These are some of the questions that we raise in this presentation. And we are climbing towards natural language understanding, and in this case we need to look at two different approaches. One of them is language models, and the other one is meaning. I see, that when we look at language models, we are looking at how any system can be trained only on tasks, on generating and producing and predicting strings. And that's something that models do because they are trained on real language. But when we look at meaning, then we will see that there is a relationship between a linguistic form and the communicative intent. And this communicative intent is not always grasped or understood by machines. And this has led to some critiques recently on claims of language understanding. And some authors argue that this is an overloaded term. Or is it? Computational linguistics is at the center of the LITHME action. It interacts with all working groups within language understanding in the human-machine era, and there is a forecast that we can look at in the future. So when we think about the ability that machines have to simulate by computer all the processes that are required to produce and understand language, we can see this interaction with the different working groups within LITHME. I mean, when we talk about legal decisions, we may think that in the future these will be fully automated. Or when we think about language rights, machine language understanding will promote moral and ethical action to grant those rights. Or when we think about minority languages, the way language understanding will promote the vitality and diversity of those endangered and minority languages. Or if we think about language education, if you consider the limitless possibilities in education, or how we can also think about how deeper machine language understanding will encourage new and more fine-grained concepts of languages and language ideologies. Or if we think about language work and language professionals, we will see that there will be an unprecedented repertoire of choices, and these will grant professionals more efficiency and more effectiveness. Or if we look at language variation, we can see that as natural language understanding evolves, these language variation issues will be addressed to ensure an accurate, pragmatic interaction. And this is how we predict language in the human-machine era and computational linguistics to be in the future.